All right, everyone, welcome to our summation,
team pick,
or our final, I guess, of the group stage. We've already finished our group, but we did have a tie in Group C between three teams, all tied for that first place, and of course, only the top two can advance. So we've got our tiebreakers tonight, and it's going to feature compLexity, eHug, and Not Today. So those are going to be all the teams featured in our three matches tonight.
5 seconds remaining.
I, of course, am Niz, and this is for the Dota 2 Canada Cup, where tomorrow we'll actually be starting the playoffs, and we'll be one step closer to seeing who takes home the big prize. We got almost $12,000 on the line here. So, well, every team wants to definitely remain in the tournament and have a shot at it at least. But last time these two teams played against each other in the group stage, eHug took the win. And I can already tell you right now, this game is starting off a little bit different. The last game, eHug actually had first pick. So this game, same thing as well. But eHug was on the dire side. So a slight little difference there, but also a slight similarity. Batrider also got banned out in the first round of bans by compLexity. So they're choosing to let it through this time. And part of that, I think, was because
10 seconds remaining.
Well, basically what happened last time is eHug opened with the Axe ban. compLexity responded with Troll ban. And then eHug responded with Sniper. But this time around, compLexity ended up banning both of them. So eHug just said, you know what, we're just going to ban out the Lina. And we're going to pick up the Batrider. So it's going to be interesting to see how compLexity chooses to respond here. Of course, Vengeful Spirit's pretty much your number one counter to Batrider. And of course, she's still available in the pool. But looks like compLexity is going to pick up the Phantom Lancer right out of the gate. So a quite different pickup here. We certainly don't see this very often, but it should be interesting to see compLexity and what they have planned for this. Of course, compLexity, no stranger to a little bit different picks, as in that game against eHug, they actually picked up a Night Stalker, support Night Stalker in that game.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, eager to see what they're going to pair up with this Phantom Lancer to counter the, or maybe not even counter the initial Batrider pick. As they can just say, you know what, you've got a Batrider, do whatever the hell you want, because we have our own plan, and we have confidence in it, and they're going to go with the Chen. So
Radiant team pick.
nothing too Batrider countery there. As well, Batrider, he may actually find himself in an okay position here. He may be able to stay in the lane and not be forced to abandon early on. You know, some would say that it may be a little favorable for him to abandon, but Batrider typically wants to hit level 3. If Bat can hit level 3 in the lane early, then abandon and maybe go clear up a stack or two that his supports have stacked up for him, or if they haven't, you know, he can still go and hop in the jungle and farm up quickly. But he needs that level 3. If he can hit level 3, then he can do it very, very quickly. If he doesn't hit level 3 and he has to abandon earlier, then it's a little bit slower start coming out of him on the jungle, or in the jungle. And I think with the Chen on the side of compLexity, obviously going to be in the jungle for most of the time. You always have to be wary of a gank coming out when you're the offlaner, and there's a Chen on the other side.
10 seconds remaining.
But I think with the fact that the Chen is most of the time not going to be there, I think the Bat can get a little bit greedy and get those early levels. Chen is pretty much going to come either immediately, you know, right after the 30-second mark, where he's going to grab a creep, and then he's going to come within 30 and 60 seconds of the start. That's a pretty broad time I'm giving you there, but it's around that time. Of course, I imagine Infinity, who's going to be playing the off lane here for eHug, is going to have a better idea of exactly when Chen's timings are. But that's one thing he'll have to look out for. And I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much experience laning against the Phantom Lancer, or the new Phantom Lancer, as an offlaner, so I'm not sure exactly how much that Phantom Lancer will be able to do to force the Batrider back, and how much support he's going to need from, well, the other support that compLexity is going to pick up. And maybe I'm completely wrong, and that Batrider will have to abandon early and head back to the jungle. But that will remain to be seen, at least
Dire
for me.
team pick.
But we've got Storm Spirit getting picked up on the side of eHug. And this is exactly what they played last time against compLexity. They had a little bit of a slow start. compLexity put some pressure on the Storm early on. The Storm actually gave up first blood, but then rebounded and came back into the game and was able to get a lot of key pickoffs for eHug. And a lot of that was actually, I'd say mostly, due to the fact that they had a Treant Protector and Tree could go invis, and that allowed them to put really deep aggressive wards, basically all the way inside compLexity's jungle, and that allowed Storm to just get a bunch of pickoffs, and then once he got the ball rolling, just kept snowballing, and eHug had picked up a Lycan that game as well. I believe it was their 5th pick, and with getting those pickoffs, they just started taking down towers. And despite the fact that compLexity got out to an early lead that game, eHug brought it right back. There was a pretty big decisive fight in kind of the mid game, but eHug took control of that, and then just never looked back. But we got Jug and Lycan getting banned out by compLexity, so no Lycan this time around. Viper and Shadow Fiend were the bans from Team eHug. Then we had Skywrath and Nyx Assassin getting picked up for compLexity, so it looks like Skywrath is going to be the support. That's going to be babysitting the Phantom Lancer, and Nyx Assassin looking like he's going to be the offlaner. However, he can always go mid against the Storm Spirit. I think he's most likely going to be the offlaner, but he is a decent counter to the Batrider. Of course, he can pop Spike Carapace, and whenever Batrider, when he's got the Firefly down, Nyx Assassin just stands in it with Spike Carapace on, and that'll stun the Batrider. Really, really strong counter to the Batrider. Earthshaker and Witch Doctor were the picks for eHug. So they've got their support duo there, and they're just going to be looking to pick up their safe lane carry to round out their roster. As for compLexity, well, we already know their safe lane carry. They're looking for most likely their mid, unless they're putting that Nyx Assassin mid, and then in which case it will be their offlaner. But like I said, for right now, I think it's that Nyx Assassin's going to be in the offlane. Well, compLexity taking their time here, trying to figure out who they're going to ban. And there's really a lot of options. A lot of options. compLexity went with the Slark last time, and eHug, of course, went with the Lycan, but that's already getting a bit got banned out. There we go. Void going to be the ban here for compLexity, so they want to remove that ability to lock down the Phantom Lancer and have them blow him up. I actually think the Faceless Void... I don't know. It's interesting, because I like... I don't know. I keep having all these different train of thoughts going on in my head, and then just, nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And that's probably exactly what these drafters are thinking right now. Swindlemelons and Pandago, they're just thinking there. They're running through all these options in their head and saying, "Oh, no, that's not really going to work. This might work. No, that's not going to work." And then you're basically gonna go through this huge checklist in your head, running through, chopping off heroes, but also adding heroes to a maybe. And then you're asking for input from your team maybe. I don't know exactly how these guys draft. Some drafters like the input from their teammates. Some just go completely silent. They don't listen to anyone. They just, some actually even just not disconnect, but like mute Skype when they're doing it. And then some teams, it's a complete community. It doesn't even matter who's got that crown and who's doing the actual picking of the heroes. So I'm not sure how these teams draft, but either way, they went with the Templar Assassin to go mid to go up against the Storm Spirit, and we're going to see an Anti-Mage coming out from Team eHug. So we've not Anti-Mage against Phantom Lancer. Do we have another long game in store for us? Our last 3 games that we cast were all, it was 57 minutes, 61 minutes, and 73 minutes, I believe. So they were all basically right around the 60-minute mark or longer. But I think almost every single game in Group C was short, or relatively short. When eHug played compLexity, it was in and around like the mid 30-minute mark. So this could be a very, very different game than what we saw the first time these guys played each other in the tournament.
10 seconds.
But it certainly is shaping up to be a good one. I think it's really going to hinge on
5 seconds remaining.
on two performances, and that's going to be the Batrider, what he's able to do early on. Same thing with the Storm Spirit, what he's able to do, whether he's able to get it going or not. Why is my camera moving? Help? I'm on free camera, directed, free? Okay, I'm just gonna disconnect and reconnect here. I don't know why it's all of a sudden just randomly moving my camera around, but hopefully we'll get that adjusted here, or get this fixed at least, because that'll be a little bit difficult to manage if my camera's constantly moving around and I still can't. I can select things. It could just be because it's paused right now, because it seems to keep bouncing back and forth. Well, we'll just wait until the game is unpaused. Obviously, I can't do the player introductions right now, but it's I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, guys. But either way, the point I was trying to make is that the Batrider and the Storm Spirit, what they can do early. You know, can they get the ball rolling? Can they get moving around and ganking? And if they can and get a couple successful ganks, yeah, I can't move here. Like I can't even get any of the other casters. We'll try to reconnect one more time. I don't know what's going on here, guys. I really don't know. I guess after this we'll maybe try to restart DotA or something, or it's still like locked on heroes. Alright, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna restart DotA real quick, so hang with me. Because I have no idea what's going on. But either way, the Batrider and the Storm moving around ganking, that's one of the things to look for. Also on the side of the Dire, what can the Chen do early? Is he going to be able to actually be active on the map? Is he going to be able to actually accomplish things? Is he going to be able to get a gank? Is he going to be able to push towers down early? Look for him to try to push down the top tier 1 early on. Here we go. Besides that, we've got the Nyx Assassin. Pretty much the same thing. It's going to be a battle between him and the Batrider. Who can get those pickoffs early on? You do have some somewhat vulnerable heroes, support heroes, 2 of them, on the side of the Radiant here that could easily get picked off by the Nyx Assassin. We've got the Earthshaker and the Witch Doctor. Hey, we're good, we're good. Alright, cool. We're in the game. And we're going to introduce the teams and the players super fast. On the Radiant side, we got eHug playing the Earthshaker. It's going to be Pandago. Infinity is going to be on the Batrider. Gamer123 is going to be on the Storm Spirit. Sorrow is going to be on the Anti-Mage. And MJW is going to be on the Witch Doctor. For Dire side, we have Team compLexity. Swindlemelons is going to be taking up the Templar Assassin in the mid lane. Fly is going to be on the Skywrath Mage. Zizzy is going to be on the Phantom Lancer. Z-Freak is going to be on the Nyx Assassin. And Zizzo, or Zizu, or whatever. Zizzo, I'm going to call him Zizzo, I think. And he's going to be on the Chen. But keep in mind, this is
Denied.
the tiebreaker. So, obviously, this match is going to be very, very important between these teams, as we're only going to have three games, and only 2 teams can advance. We're we're going to see Zfreak get stunned up here, and we got an early Maledict from MJW, actually level 1 Maledict. It's going to allow him to get some good damage in, but of course he doesn't have the disable to lock down that Nyx Assassin. But this game going to be very, very important. They already squared off once in the tournament. eHug did take that game. Alright, so trying to get situated here. So, in our top lane, oh, I just missed bottom. First blood. I'm going to blame that on Valve. In our top lane, it's going to be a Phantom Lancer and a Skywrath, and of course Chen in the jungle going up against, well, no one, because Batrider has chosen to already abandon. So he's going to be right in the jungle, pretty much from the start of the game. In the mid lane, we're going to have the Storm Spirit going up against the TA. Bottom lane is going to be the Nyx Assassin, which already got picked off, unfortunately missed that, going up against the Witch Doctor and the Anti-Mage. And looks like the, where is he? He's over here. Looks like the Earthshaker is going to be moving around quite a bit, and unfortunately he's moved right into Fly. Who is he going to get the kill? Oh, yes he is. Good pick off there by Flies. He actually put himself in a position there. I don't think because the Earthshaker was making that rotation, but probably because he was waiting for the Bottle Crow to come in, and he wanted to try and pick off the Courier before the 3-minute mark when it can get flying. Obviously, he found an Earthshaker instead, got the kill there. I think he probably would have preferred to get the kill on the Courier than a kill on an Earthshaker, but you take what you can get, right? So obviously he can't stay standing there on the high ground waiting for the Courier, and Gamer123 even pathed it around the side so it wouldn't potentially get picked off. So obviously there's no value in Fly staying there. But we do see, with that kill, it is evened up at 1 apiece. And so far in this mid lane, Swindlemelon's actually taking an early lead. And that's somewhat to be expected. The TA going up against the Storm Spirit. That lane will come back to Storm a little bit more as this early game progresses. But Zfreak doing a little moving around here, trying to set up a gank, but he has walked right through this Radiant Observer Ward. So he could be in trouble here as FJW is going to try to wrap around on him. The Batrider is farming up the jungle here, and he's going to run right into Infinity. As now Zfreak's going to take a bunch of damage. I need to hop into the mid lane in just a second, as we do have a little bit of a smoke gank here coming up from Zizzo and Fly, as they drew on the map that they want to be doing this complete wraparound on mid. To wrap around on Gamer123, and they're going to dive the tower here. Courier's there as well, so they may even go for the Courier. They're just going to go for the Storm instead. As they're going to get the stomp from the Hellbear Smasher. Gamer123 is going to try to hide in the trees. We got double TPs coming up from MJW and Pandago, but they will still get the kill. The Storm will fall. Zizzo getting the kill there on the Chen. Will they be able to get out of there alive? Looks like they will. Good TP support coming up from Pandago and MJW, but not enough to keep their Storm Spirit alive. And this is exactly what compLexity did. Well, not exactly, but similar to what compLexity did early on in that last game that they played against each other. They put the pressure on the Storm Spirit early on. They had a nice wraparound gank from the Night Stalker that got them first blood. But keep in mind, Gamer123 was off to a little bit of a slow start in that game, but he came right back and still had a very strong presence in the game. But compLexity is going to look to put him even further behind this time as they continue the pressure. But this time MJW's there. He doesn't have to TP in. He's already there waiting. But expect Fly to try and make those rotations one more time, at least early on in this game. Or maybe it's going to be from the Chen. But either way, eHug's completely leaving this Phantom Lancer alone in the top lane, so he can do whatever he wants. And expect him to be off to a really good start. Anti-Mage, he's been left alone in the bottom lane going up against Nyx, but he should be perfectly fine in that lane. It's practically him in a solo lane. But we do see only 1 CS separating the two safe lane farmers, so it is a close one. As for mid, we do have a slight advantage going the way of the TA, 29-9 versus 20-4 on the Storm. And our offlaners, well, 4-0 on the Nyx Assassin, but Batrider's at 17-0. You can't really compare the two of those. You have to look more towards the Chen, who's 21-0 right now. And in the end, you're going to get a slight advantage going the way of compLexity. But the two supports on eHug have managed to get a little bit more CS as well. which I'm actually quite surprised that they both have 7
Radiant
last hits.
structures are
That's quite a
fortified.
lot for a support early on in this game, let alone both of them. Pandego will throw out a fissure here onto Zizzy, but we're going to have a TP coming in from Infinity, and that's not for a gank, that's just to defend this tower. And with the 2 of them up here, they should be able to defend it easily. And ooh, they actually messed that up. Typically what you want to do is you want to have one person attacking and get the tower so that it's down to 2 last hits to be able to take it down, and then you both attack at the same time, so no deny is possible. But Saro's going to get ganked here in the bottom lane as Fly and Zizzo are going to tie him down, and they will, with one last auto attack from Fly, get the kill. Fly will go down to the tower, but that's perfectly fine. They're fine with that. They killed the anti-mage. Not only did they set him back in terms of a little bit of gold, which of course they did, he's not able to buy out with the amount of gold he had, but also they've stopped him from farming. This is time that he is not farming, and this is time that the Phantom Lancer is going to get ahead. It's not much time, but it is a slight little advantage. And you'll take everything that you can get, especially going up against an anti-mage. Because if he's able to get a good start, he's going to snowball out of control very, very quickly. Because he's he really is one of the strongest or fastest farmers in the game. As Pandego is going to find Fly with MJW. Saro is even going to blink over here to try and get the kill. Looks like MJW is probably going to get it. As one more right click, there we go. MJW will get the kill. Now Saro is just going to go right back to the lane and start farming. Do actually have Swindle Mounds coming over here stacking the ancient camp. That's not for him, I don't think. I was expecting him to stack that and then go for the bottom rune. Which is there, it is invis, but it looks like Z-Freak's going to take that. So not only does he have invis, but then he also has Vendetta. He doesn't really have too much mana though. He does have arcane boots that he can use, but of course that will break his invis. And this Chen constantly using the tornado with the bird creep. This is actually the second one he's used this game. Just having one in the bottom lane, just annoying the anti-mage there, but he had one in the mid lane early on, and that honestly is very, very frustrating to play against as a mid laner when the Chen has that tornado on you. The tornado does a surprising amount of damage, and you do have to respect it. Swindle Mounds will stack this one more time. It's going to go up to a 4 stack here, assuming he stacked it properly, which it looks like he did. And yep, there we go. It's going to be a 4 stack. As we wait to see how these offlaners will start to get involved in the game. And they haven't really distanced themselves too much from the supports. As, well, Pandego and MJW are both level 5, getting close to level 6. You see Infinity still on his way to level 6 as well. The Dire side, we already have 6 on the Nyx Assassin. And the supports are all going to be kind of approaching 6 as well, as they're going to get a little bit more XP on their side because they have a Chen. But you do see the Skywrath lagging behind a little bit, and I think that was because he's easily been our most active hero on the map thus far.
Dire's bottom tower is under
So
attack.
very understandable that he would be suffering a little bit in terms of XP, but he'll quickly catch back up, especially when he's given this top lane all by himself. Right now, the PL is actually camping top rune to replenish his bottle. And in the mid lane, we've got Z-Freak soaking up a little bit of XP there. Bottom's not really possible to be soaking up XP, and Swindle Mounds is actually going to be taking that ancient stack, which he's been working on for a little bit.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Now Saro and MJW will try to put that pressure on the bottom tier 1 tower. I spoke about the Chen putting the pressure
Dire's
on the
bottom
top
tower
early
is
on,
under
but
attack.
he didn't even have to come out of the lane for it to go down, as the PL had already pushed it. It did get denied though, so that's one of the things that you typically don't want to have happen. If you do get a little bit of a coordinated push with the Chen at the right time, it's going to make it very, very difficult for the other side to get the deny off on the tower. They have to devote a lot of heroes to come up there and stop that push.
Denied.
We do have a Blink Dagger already picked up by Swindle Melons on this TA, so expect him to try and get going early on here, and I think that's just because he's going to want to keep pace with the Storm Spirit. I spoke of the Storm Spirit and the Bat Rider. Both are going to be looking to get active and try to get some pickoffs. And compLexity, they have the Nyx Assassin to do that, but obviously they need someone else to match up with the two heroes that are going to try to go aggressive on the side of eHug, and TA is going to hit that role, and of course TA is really strong at doing that. The one downside I'd say to the TA right now is that the TA isn't going to scale as well as the Storm Spirit will going later and later into this game. TA's pretty good at scaling, but she's nowhere near the best when it comes to the heroes that are currently picked in the meta, and that's why we don't see her all too often. But Swindlemelons will try and grab the bottom rune here. Maybe he'll look to do something with it. It's just a regen rune, so probably not. As he'll head back to the mid lane. Gamer's just going to bottle up the bounty. As we've seen a lot of moving around, not too many kills. 6 kills, 12.5 minutes. But this is exactly how that other game started as well. It was a lot of moving around, but not that many kills. And we may see that start to pick up here in just a second, as the Bat Rider just finished picking up his Blink Dagger, and we do have a smoke coming from the both supports on the side of compLexity, as they're going to sit behind Z-Freak as they look to once again get a gank on this anti-mage. So Sorrow needs to be careful. They can easily lead with a stun from the Nyx Assassin, or even a silence and a concussive from the Skywrath Mage, as they could easily do that coming out from here. I think those creeps just spotted them, maybe. Asaro is going to come in below the tower, as yes, those creeps did spot at least the Skywrath Mage, and Swindlemelons is down here as well, which I believe that rotation was spotted by that Observer Ward at the bottom room location.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But Sorrow will just back away so they don't get the gank, but they've got their Chen down here, they've got their creep wave pushing, so they can easily take this tier 1 tower, and it doesn't look like eHug's going to be able to come and defend. So what they'll try to do is put a little bit of pressure on in the mid lane. I don't think they'll actually be able to get this tower, as we already see some TP support coming in to defend, and that's Zizzy on the Phantom Lancer coming in, but Infinity was waiting for this, as he's going to jump on in, get the lasso off on the PL, pull him back in. We got the Death Ward going down, but it was actually attacking one of the illusions for a while there, as now it'll come. Oh no, I don't think the Death Ward hit the Phantom Lancer once there. Every attack was on the Death Ward. Of course, you can actually manually target your Death Ward. If you actually like box select it and then right click on your target, it will attack whoever you tell it to, but it's very, very difficult in that situation to even know which one's an illusion, or be able to figure it out quickly and then switch your ward. Z-Freak, getting a little ballsy here, but they're going to go and blow up the Witch Doctor right off the start. I thought maybe they were going a little bit too deep there, but of course Infinity doesn't have much mana, so maybe they weren't that deep at all, as Pandago doesn't have much mana either. Z-Freak will go down, but the most important part is that Swindlemelons managed to get out of there. I'm not sure how the Skywrath Mage died. Obviously he got picked off by Pandago, and I don't even know who else, but Fight Recap's not going to help us there. But all while that was going on, good micro coming out from the Chen, keeping his minions in the bottom lane constantly pushing, and they got a lot of damage on this tier 2 tower, over 1,000 points of damage dealt to it. And now with the Chen finishing his mech, they're going to be able to push, or at least fight as a team a little bit more. I don't think they're probably going to look to 5-man, but they'll definitely try to push 4-man at least, as both teams are going to be looking to do the kind of 4 protect 1 strategy. We're going to have a smoke here from the Radiant side. I'm going to switch on over to the net worth to see exactly where we stand, as it's going to be 8.1k on the TA, and ooh, they're actually going to be, oh no, they're not going to be going for Roche. They're going to be going for Swindlemelons. They're going to catch him at the Ancient Stack, and this should be a kill. Indeed it will be. Infinity's going to get the gold there for dropping Swindlemelons, but a more important kill was in the bottom lane, as Fly and Z-Freak combined for a kill on Sorrow. But we're not over here, as Gamer 123 is trying to jump away, but looks like Zizzy's going to catch up and get the kill on him. The Lance flies through, gets that kill. We have MJW getting hit with an Arcane Bolt, but Zizzy's not going to be able to bring him down, as he's just going to TP away.
Death and gold are linked.
So good pick off there from eHug. Unfortunately, it left their anti-mage a little bit exposed in the bottom lane. He got picked off, and then they weren't even able to get out of there. They lost their Storm Spirit as well. So in the end, It was both mid laners
Radiant's
trading their
structures are
lives.
fortified.
But
Radiant's middle tower is under
by
attack.
eHug making that rotation, actually freed up a rotation from compLexity to drop their Animage, and that was going to be the difference. And on the back of that, they're going to look to take this tier 1 tower as it's getting very, very low. No deny.
Radiant's middle tower
Going to be able to
has
come out there
fallen.
from eHug as they've lost all 3 of their tier 1 towers. As compLexity looking pretty good so far. Let's actually see how far ahead they are. Well, it's over 5,000, almost 6,000 gold in favor of them. XP just past the 4K mark, so they're off to a better start than they did last time, but not by much. I think the furthest they got ahead was about 4,000 gold, and then they unfortunately got picked off, and it just kind of spiraled out of control there. Well, like I mentioned, eHug in that mid game took over with one really strong pickoff, and now maybe they're gonna look to not let that happen. Is they're gonna pick up an Aegis and they're gonna put on Swindle Melons. He's gonna be
under attack.
probably one of the more
Dire's
aggressive
middle
heroes
tower
that
has
they're
been
gonna
denied.
have coming out.
Dire's structures
Is he getting
are
a deny on the
fortified.
mid tier 1 tower? There was also a lot of
Dire's
pressure
top
being
tower
applied to
is
this top
under
tier 1
attack.
tower. No defense coming out from compLexity there.
Dire's
So
top
just like
tower
that,
has
eHug
fallen.
managed to drop 2 towers. Unfortunately, one getting denied, but that is just even with the top tier 1 tower that got denied from by eHug early on. And look at this. They are waiting off to the side, hoping that someone was going to come up, but Zizzy just kind of showed himself. I don't think anyone
Radiant's
will come
bottom
up.
tower is under attack.
It's very tempting for Sorrow, though. As he knows. He knows this is wrong. Gotta rely on your instinct. And he'll do just
Dire's
that. He'll
top
just
tower
play a
is
little
under
patiently.
attack.
But Z-Freak will blink on in, get the stun off onto Sorrow. Now, the Mystic Flare will come out, but Sorrow's just able to walk away. And a lot of that was actually just because of his placement. Because he didn't move up. Had he moved up here, I think he probably would have died. But the fact that he was back there actually probably saved his life. So relying on those instincts, and they worked out for him. Swindlemon's actually going for a Desolator, which is going to be flying out on the courier in just a second, I believe. Is this... Oh, Pandago. Getting picked off, but we're going to have the lasso on the fly. The Chen heal will bring him back up, but that's not high enough as he just drops immediately after. Z-Freak also going down to the Death Ward, but we're going to lose Infinity. Swindlemon's going to try to get out of there. Not going to happen, but he does have a second life. So he'll just respawn with the Aegis here in a second, but unfortunately he's in the middle of 3 heroes on the side of eHug. He will meld, and they actually don't have any way to see him. There was a sentry ward just above, but he was outside of that. But he did manage to blink and get further away. We are going to see the Yule Scepter used on him from the Storm Spirit, and then he'll just meld again. Now Zizzo's going to walk in, use the mech, heal him up a bit. And they're not able to bring him down a second time. That's really frustrating, not having any detection there to be able to reveal him. When we take a look at the map, we see that one sentry, we see another sentry here, we see another sentry even in the mid lane. So obviously there was detection, it just got used in that more recent engagement. And unfortunately the Witch Doctor not able to have any more on him for that gank. And you're also going to look to for your Bat Rider to have some detection on him as well. It is a little bit difficult at times to actually have detection on the Bat Rider because of, well, just the item progression and how quickly you bring out items on the Bat Rider. But I think it would definitely be a good idea for Infinity to pick up some kind of detection, as there's a lot of ways. Well, it's two heroes at least that can go invis on the side of compLexity, and that's of course the Nyx with the Vendetta, which you're not really going to try and detect with a dust. That's mainly going to be for the supports. Excuse me. Kind of preemptively putting a sentry down to trying to catch him out. But of course, if he's trying to run away and pops his Vendetta, then obviously dust is going to be good for you there. But mainly the dust is going to be for revealing Swindle Melons when he tries to go for those meld plays. We'll have some movement to the bottom lane. It looks like compLexity they're not happy with this tier 2 tower being left alive.
Radiant's bottom
And
tower
eHug
is
is
under attack.
kind of close by with a couple heroes, but they're not
Radiant's
going to be able to
bottom
defend
tower
that.
has
As
fallen.
complexity drops once again another tower. And they're definitely playing the Chen how it's supposed to be
Dire's
played.
top tower
Getting
is under attack.
those early tower destructions. And that's some gold that honestly I think is very underestimated. You can easily snowball off just pushing down towers early on. You think about how much extra gold you're getting by way of just dropping those towers. eHug only has 2 towers worth of gold, and of course one of those was denied. Complexity, well, they have 4, one being denied. That's a lot of extra gold. And you take a look at some of the items here coming out from the heroes of complexity, as I'll actually bring up the whole item chart so you can see everyone at once. As Swindle Mountain's looking pretty good, as actually Infinity not looking so hot, as they're going to be able to slow him down. They will drop the Mystic Flare, and Fly will get the kill there, doing a surprising amount of damage with our Arcane Bolt, because he's not poor for a support hero. He's sitting at 6,200 net worth. Jesus. And he will go down there. As, well, complexity will look to push another tower. We're even going to have the Owl throwing out his tornado as it slowly creeps on in.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It looks like eHug will just back away and let it go, but maybe not. As complexity will TP back to defend their bottom tier 1 tower, at least TP1. Kiro, and that's, well, Swindle Melons and his brother Z-Freak in tow. But Sorrow not sticking around, he just backed away. So the Animage split push, forcing complexity back, keeping that mid-tier 2 tower alive. And now, eHug will look to smoke up and try to get another pick off. As it's going to be, well, 3 heroes, but they're pretty damn separated. They're getting far apart from each other. As Infinity, oh no. Oh, it's a complete disaster. I thought the lasso was actually used there, but it wasn't. As they walked up here and then their smoke got popped, but their smoke got popped right as the PL had passed that group of trees, so they actually didn't have vision of the PL. So then they saw the illusion that was still in the camp, and they went for it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But luckily it died right before, I think right before the lasso went off. Maybe a little bit of luck there for eHug, as now the lasso is still available, so they always, whenever the lasso's up, you're always threatening, and lasso, it does have a pretty low cooldown, so there's a reason why Batrider's banned as often as he is, because he can pretty much take over a game at this point of this game. But we're only seeing Infinity sitting at 2-2-2 right now. He has been involved, but certainly hasn't taken over the game. And we take a look at Gamer 123 and how he's doing. 0-2-5. Not the best start. And he certainly hasn't been able to kind of take on over this game as well. As eHug kind of sitting on the back foot here. As we see what the gap is at now, and it's close to 8k in favor of complexity as they continue
Dire's bottom tower
to pull
is
ahead.
under attack. Dire's structures
Obviously,
are
a little bit of that
fortified.
gold will come back in favor of eHug as they start taking some of these outer towers, as this mid-tier 1 is getting closer and closer to being brought down by Sorrow on the Animage. So far as Battle Fury, Vlad's, and an Ultimate Orb. We do have a Vlad's on the other side as well, as the Chen has picked that up. Z-Freak almost done his Yule Scepter. Swindle Mount has picked up a BKB, hasn't used it yet, so it's a fresh 10-second BKB. Fly, like I said, this guy's huge on the Skywrath this game. Skywrath Mage this game. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. As he's already picked up a Rod of Atos, and that's a lot of int. That is a lot of int. 56 plus 45, that means your Arcane Bolts are hitting damn hard. Of course, they scale with your int. 1.6 times your int is extra damage added on, and Infinity was going to try to blink in there, try to catch out Swindle Melons, but not anywhere even close to getting there on time. The Seafrake is invis and will pop out of the Vendetta onto the Batrider, but he's going to get stunned up. He wanted to get that little bit of min-max damage in, but it, in the end, proved to not be very good, as he was kind of relying on his Spike Carapace to stun up the Batrider so that the Batrider wouldn't really be able to stop him. But I mean, there was an Earthshaker there as well, and he was trolling around here. He knew that all those heroes were up there. It was just a little bit of a greedy play. But he got punished for it, and good on eHug for doing so. So Mr. Sizzo asking in chat if Fly is the same one from Fnatic. Indeed it is. All these guys pretty much, or at least most of them. I don't know about Zizzy or Zizzo too much. I know their names, and I'm pretty sure they did play Han, but I'm pretty sure everyone on this compLexity team actually knows each other from Han.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, Fly used to be on Fnatic and Han, and they were by far the best team for a long time. And then Swindlemelons was competing. I forget which team he was competing on, but
Dire's top tower
I think it
is
may
under
have been
attack.
actually compLexity with Moonmeander at a time. I'm not actually sure, 100%. I can't remember.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But then eventually Fnatic ended up leaving.
Roshan has fallen
Leaving
to the
Dota
Dire.
2, or leaving Han to go for Dota 2, and they had mixed
Dire's
success.
top tower is under
And
attack.
and then like the team that Swindlemelons was on, I forget who it was. I think they might have named themselves Stay Free or something like that, but I can't remember. But either way, they dominated the scene for a while. But either way, they've all kind of come back together here to form this compLexity team, and they've been doing all right. They've had mixed results, and certainly this game they're definitely having one of their better games. They've definitely got the leg up on eHug here, getting a little bit of redemption from the last game that they played against each other. Speaking of which, what is the gap at now? It's come back a little bit, but still 7,500 or so. XP's come back significantly, about 3,500 or so in favor of compLexity. And now I think compLexity is going to prepare to actually push for this tier 2, and this is the perfect way to get it started off. As Zfreak just jumps on in, stuns Gamer123, and he gets blown up by Fly, but will they be able to get back and get resituated? It doesn't look like it, as Fly's going to get picked off. MJW, though, is going to go down to Swindlemelons as he jumped in, and, well, with that BKB up, they couldn't do anything to him with Lasso on cooldown. Now compLexity will try and post up right behind their creep wave and behind these Chen minions and try to bring down this tier 2 tower, but they'll actually back away earlier. Not wanting to commit here. You know what? Swindlemelons kind of low on HP. Has his BKB still on cooldown. Yes, he has Aegis, but why waste the Aegis? Just come back when you've got full HP and BKB back up and you're ready to fight again, and then go for it again. As long as you still have the Aegis, it's worth it to at least try and use it, but there's no sense throwing it away, especially when it's a very fresh Aegis and it's got a lot of time left on it. I'm going to quickly try and cycle through our heroes here as Pandago has picked up a gem. And he's Tranquil and Soul Ring. He's nowhere near any kind of mobility enhancing item, but I think he's largely going to be kind of standing back, throwing out those key fissures. And if it's actually weird to say it, but it's almost like he's going to be able to walk in. He's going to throw at that fissure, and then once the team fight is fully developed, he's almost going to be able to walk in and get an echo off. It's not going to be a fantastic echo like you would get with a blink, but I think it's very important for him to, right now, just be able to stand back and get those key fissures off, as we are going to see an engage here. As, wow, we're going to have a lot of heroes go down here quick, but it's not going good for compLexity as Swindlemelons opened it up with a kill. But then he lost 3 friends in the process, and now he's gone down. And will he go down again? He does get the blink off on the Aegis respawn. And they're going to try to chase him down. Zizzy's there to try and help out. Saro's just going to blink on past the Mana Void. And a right click's going to finish him off. They won't be able to go on Zizzy. But great play there coming out from eHug as they, well, look to bring it back. You know, I said it before. compLexity. Last time, they were ahead. But then eHug just completely dominated compLexity in a one-team fight. compLexity tried to force a gank, tried to force a little bit too hard, and eHug just countered and completely flipped the game upside down. And then they never looked back. I don't think that fight was significant enough to bring it all the way back. We're still going to have to wait for it to update here a bit, but it definitely brought it back. I'd say a significant amount, but Saro needs to be careful here as Z-Freak is stalking him. Saro actually does blink away. Had he not blinked at that moment, I think Z-Freak was just about to open up on him, and Fly was so close. But I don't know. Saro with the BKB now. I don't know if they can bring him down. But at least it would definitely be worth forcing those BKB charges off of the Animage, as he's still sitting on a 10-second, fresh 10-second one. And if he has that when he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, he's going to be hell for them to deal with later on in this game. Infinity almost done his BKB as well, sitting at 775 gold. So he's getting close, just needs that recipe. Gamer's sitting at 11 Bloodstone charges. Looks like he's going to be going for a BKB as well. BKB, I'd say, is kind of the item of the game here. It's going to be very valuable for everyone on the side of eHug to pick up. And, you know, we might even see MJW pick one up eventually. He has finished his eggs. Looks like he's going for a Shadow Blade. So not going to go for the BKB, at least not anytime soon. He's going to go with the Shadow Blade, and you can channel your Death Ward and then go invis by your Shadow Blade. So you're requiring your opponents to have some way to detect you if they want to look to interrupt. Of course, you could interrupt with, you know, Z-Freak using his stun. Just kind of ground target it. That'll work. But he won't be able to Yules, for example. Or any kind of targeted stun like that, or even use the silence from Fly. Z-Freak's going to go hunting here again. He's got his Blink Dagger and his Yules, but hasn't really made too much item progression since then. As he'll actually pass by some heroes here on the Radiant side, and right as he comes out of Vendetta, they try and jump on him, but he's too quick with the blink for them to actually be able to get an opening there. Swindlemelon's just finished the Daedalus, so looking for those big crits. What is Fly sitting at? 1,800 gold. Wow. God, he's really been making a lot of bank this game. And he's 5-7-4. That's not the best support record ever. Like, I'm just really surprised. He does have 59 CS though. That's quite significant. And quite higher than you'd expect for a support hero. But we saw early on in the game, the support's getting a decent amount of CS. A lot more than they typically would get in a game, as the Witch Doctor and Earthshaker got some early CS. compLexity, we didn't have the Skywrath Mage farming much early on, but screw that. We've got more fights going on as Infinity's going to jump on in, pull Swindlemelons right back in, and he's going to be dead to start everything off. And they're going to grab Zizzo as well, as he's going to go down. Great counter ganks coming up from eHug. As you know what, you take a look at this map and you see traps all over the place. You'd expect compLexity to be getting the upper hand in these initiations, but we've got some really good Observer Wards placed out. This Observer Ward is quite valuable for the Radiant side. This is actually typically an Observer Ward that's used a lot more by the Dire side. It's actually just kind of a crappier version of the one that you'd place down here to spot out early rotations. It does do a slightly different thing, but it does give you roughly the same information at the same time. But eHug also using that defensively is it's not that bad of a defensive ward. It's actually quite similar to the Observer Ward that you place up here defensively, which kind of spots those rotations coming through the mid lane. It does spot a little bit down in here. It does unfortunately miss the rotations through the break in the trees here, which this Observer Ward does pick up. But this Observer Ward also doesn't really give you that uphill vision that you'd like. Uh-oh. Are they going to open on Infinity? No, they're not. Either way, Gamer123 was nice and close, so that I don't think that would have worked out well for compLexity. But either way, the Pat actually retreated right into an Observer Ward, and the Sentry was there, so they brought it down right before the Sentry expired. And now, eHug will look to drop this Tier 1 tower. Still, despite all of Sorrow's split pushing on the Animage, they still haven't been able to bring it down. Sorrow, taking quite a bit of damage there. And now Infinity's going to jump on in, but he's going to go down. I'm not even sure which one he lassoed there, but oh no. Zizzo's going to go down. Gamer123 is directly on top of the TA, who will actually just get sent back to the fountain by the Chen right before he went down. And now, eHug looks like they're in position to drop this Tier 1 tower. compLexity will try to defend it, but not really. They'll just back away. They'll even use their glyph. Because why not? It's going to be refresh the cooldown as soon as this tower goes down. Just delay your opponents a little bit and actually place an Observer Ward here up on the pillar. The gem actually spotting out the fact that there was a dire Observer Ward there as well. So enemy blinks on up, brings that down. And now Swindlemelons, realizing that they're in there, will place a trap. It will get brought down by the Storm Spirit. And eHug will just back away here. They don't want to risk it too much. Zefrig jumps on in, gets a stun off onto the Storm, burns a little bit of his mana, but that Storm has a pretty damn big mana pool right now. And oh no, Zefrig will get healed up by the hand of God, but I don't think he's getting out of here. He's going to get into the Roche pit. He's actually going to be okay. The Urn's not going to finish him off, as we're actually going to have a TP out from the Storm Spirit, but looks like this is a disengage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Sorrow will now farm up.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
In the jungle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's up.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
More farming going on in the mid lane, as compLexity looking to keep setting something up here. So maybe not. This PL is starting to get big, like really, really big. He's got the Aegis now to go with a Scotty. He even upgraded his Diffusal, which is maybe a little bit surprising. I typically like to wait until I've used more of my charges on the Diffusal before upgrading it to 2, but it's not that bad. In this game, he's probably not going to be using that many charges to begin with. It's not like you have a silence or something that you need to constantly be dispelling off yourself. You're using it mainly just to slow down your targets. As we will have a smoke here from eHug, as they're going to look to get aggressive and try and get a pick off. Let's see, we're almost right back at even. eHug doing it again, bringing it back. Oh no, Swindlemelons, will he be the target again? They're going to have their smoke broke at a very inopportune time, but they still will catch him. And they're going to bring him back, and that will be a pick-off. As they catch Swindlemelon again. So he'll be down for 90 seconds.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
He does have buyback available to him. He may choose to use it here, as it looks like eHug's going to try and take the high ground, but there are 3 heroes on the side of compLexity coming in from behind. Count that as 4, as the Chen's even coming in from behind. With the buyback on Swindlemelons, they're going to look to fully engage this, but it's a little bit of a sloppy engage here coming up from compLexity. As the Storm's going to jump up onto Zefrig, but Zizzy's in the middle of everything, but he's going down. And he will go down, but he'll come back up with the Aegis. Swindlemelon's getting stunned up there by Pandago, but Pandago, it's just a matter of time before he's going to go down. Gamer123 just being able to TP away. So in the end, how did that fight go? Still compLexity favored. This isn't really that telling. There was a buyback forced out there. So in the end, it's pretty much close to even. Maybe slight complexity lead there. But when you factor in the fact that there was an Aegis as well, even, maybe even eHug favored. But now we're going to have a buyback coming up from the Earthshaker, so scrap that. Complexity favored. They managed to force that one buyback. It's just an Earthshaker. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but that was a little bit of progression towards him getting a mobility item. He's already picked up the Staff of Wizardry. I saw that Death Ward bouncing around, doing work, as it gets a kill on Z-Freak. Gem was dropped, but Zizzy was able to pick it up, dropped his Ring of Aquila on the ground, so eHug will gladly destroy that. Pandago swings at it with his totem, brings it down. Sorrow? What's his BKB at? 8 seconds now. He does have that butterfly, and with the PL having nothing to... He doesn't have BK or MKB for the True Strike. That means he's going to struggle hitting the Anti-Mage, but... If the Phantom Lancer is able to get on the Anti-Mage and get a good amount of attacks off, and this Anti-Mage loses his mana, he can very easily be in a bad situation. But that's going to take a lot of last hits, or a lot of hits before it's going to be able to bring down his mana pool. And you know what? There really isn't any way to control the Anti-Mage in these team fights from complexity, so they just have to ride out the BKB and then just kind of go on them after they've used everything already and they're coming back up off cooldown, because they're going to use Z-Freak stun, they're going to use the Yules, although they wouldn't be using it on the Anti-Mage most of the time anyways. They're going to use the silence from Fly. They're going to use every form of disable they have on the initiation. There's pretty much going to be nothing that's going to be held back at all. So they're just going to have to say, okay, well, we've used all these things. We're just going to have to ride out and hopefully not lose everyone to the 8-second BKB on the Anti-Mage. And then we'll try and CC after the BKB, after you stop glowing gold. But at the same time, how does eHug comfortably deal with the Phantom Lancer? There is a decent amount of AoE on the side of eHug, but some of that AoE doesn't really deal enough damage to really bring down the Phantom Lancer.
Dire's
And yeah, you've got an
bottom tower is under
Earthshaker.
attack.
That's great against the Phantom Lancer. Yeah, Firefly's down there. That's gonna help with the illusions. That's not really that much damage. The Anti-Mage with the Battle Fury, that's your main source of damage. But are we even going to see these two heroes squaring off against each other? Well, we will right now, as Lasso
Dire's
brings
bottom
an
tower is
illusion
under attack.
back to the Anti-Mage, but not the real kill, as he's way back here.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
But we're not going to really see these two carries square off against each other until late on into the fight anyways. As they're not the kind of heroes that are going to be going head to toe early on in the fight. They're going to be jumping on those squishy supports and bringing those down, as most carries do, but maybe you just go after controlling Swindle Melons as much as you can. That BKB can't be very long right now. Yeah, down to 6 seconds. You do have to be careful of the cheese though, and well, Infinity needs to be careful of that as he gets picked off. Now will Complexity try and push here? Looks like it. They're just farming up the jungle camps while they wait for the creep wave to push. But this could be a very, very important fight. There is no buyback available for the Batrider. They'll take the high ground. BKB is getting pop galore. MJW is going to drop down the Death Ward, and it's doing work as Sorrow gets one kill. Gamer123 gets the other. Zizzy now. This is the real Phantom Lancer, as he's actually going to get tossed up in the air, which causes the Echo Slam from the Earthshaker to miss. But they do still get the kill. Pandago a little bit, maybe a little bit flustered by that Yule Scepter, but it doesn't matter. They got the kill. They're perfectly fine with that. They'll take it. Pandago gets so close. I don't know if I agree with buying that Ring of Regen. He was getting pretty close
Dire's
to the
middle
recipe
barracks
cost
are under attack.
for staff. I think I would have just bought the recipe first rather than the Ring of Regen.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Well, we will
Dire's
see our
middle
first set of
barracks
racks
has
go down,
fallen.
and eHug's going to go for the tier 3 in the top. There's still 2 heroes dead, and it's the 2 most important heroes on the side of complexity. No buyback
Dire's
available to
top
either of
tower
them.
has fallen.
So they could very well lose 2
Dire's
sets of
top
racks here.
barracks are under
eHug,
attack.
I don't think they're going to get forced back easily. I think they know that there's no... I mean, they certainly should know by now that there's no buyback available, especially after they go on Z-Freak there, and no buyback has come out. So they're going to take that top set of racks.
Dire's
We'll
top
even go
barracks
bottom.
has fallen.
Why not? You have 15 seconds until the PL's up. You're going to at least bring down this tier 3 tower. Will you get a set of racks as well?
Radiant's
10
top
seconds.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, you've got
Dire's
this.
bottom tower is up.
The
Dire's
PL's going
bottom
to be up.
tower
He's not even
has
going to be up
fallen.
and able to defend in time. And even still, you still have 15 seconds till the
Dire's
TA's up.
bottom barracks
And Pendago
has
thinking
fallen.
ahead, moving up, blocking them off in their
Dire's bottom barracks
fountain,
has fallen.
allowing his
The
teammates to
Radiant
bring
now
down
have
that
mega
set of
creeps.
racks. And we're going to have all 3 racks going down.
Dire's middle
Mega
tower
creeps
is under
on the
attack.
side of eHug. As somehow, in their first match, complexity got off to an early start. But eHug brought it back. That's how it worked out in the group stages, and that's how it worked out tonight as well. It's not over. Complexity haven't thrown in the towel here. But it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for eHug to come back here. As we do see some pretty big items coming out on the side of complexity. That might help. But one of them's an MKB on Swindle Melons, and it doesn't do anything for you when you're completely CC during the entire duration. The other one was a Sheepstick on Fly, but he's not even able to get in close to use it, as Zizzy gets picked off there as well. So those 2 incredibly important heroes on the side of complexity go down once again. And now they even managed to pick off Fly, and this is just going to be it. They're just going to go for the win here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
As they'll actually back away and clear off the creep wave here, because backdoor protection. Meanwhile, Storm getting a 1 kill there, and he's going to get a second, as everyone's dead on the side of complexity. No buybacks available. And eHug will take our first game of the night. And the
Dire's
first
middle
game in the
tower is under
tiebreaker.
attack.
Our next match will be with complexity again, but they'll be going up against Not Today.
Dire's middle tower
And our
has
third
fallen.
match will feature
Dire's
eHug going
middle
up against
tower
Not
is
Today,
under
and then the
attack.
winner of all 3 of
Dire's
those
middle
will
tower
finish first
has
in the group,
fallen.
or the winner of
Dire's
how
ancient is
those games
under
work
attack.
out will finish first in the group,
Radiant
and of course
victory.
second will finish second in the group, third will finish third, but that means they're going home. So complexity already starting off 0-1. That's not the way that they wanted to start. They'll look to turn that around for their next match up against Not Today. And eHug? Well, that's the way to start off. They just got 1 more game to win to guarantee themselves first place in the group. But that's not going to be until 8:30. Our next game will start at about 7:15, so about 9 or 10 minutes from now. So hopefully you guys will stick around for that. Once again, I'm Niz. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cast. If you didn't, let me know why. Message me on Twitch. Say it in the chat. Contact me in some way. Tweet, whatever. Just let me know what I'm doing wrong or what you think I can do better, and I'll try to improve that for you next time. Make sure you do hit that follow button on twitch.tv, though, to know when I do go live. And I'm going to be casting the Canada Cup for its entire duration, unless my voice completely dies on me. I gotta say, yesterday, the day off, was much, much appreciated. My voice and my throat and my lungs or vocal cords or whatever in there that's making it all work. We're very, very thankful for that day off. But anyway, hit the follow buttons on twitch.tv, also on Twitter, which I realized I didn't tweet that I went live tonight. Mistakes were made. Either way, that's at NizCast. So you can actually see my tweets when I do tweet. And all my VODs of everything I'm casting is getting thrown up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/NizCast. So hit the subscribe button there, or just casually go and check it out whenever you want to. Whatever, go watch them, go check them out. If you missed a game or you want to go back and see a game, you can find that out there. Find those there. And also hit up the official channel for the tournament at twitch.tv/Dota2 Canada Cup. As well, they're casting all the action as well. So hit that up, check it out, and also buy the in-game ticket. Support this tournament because it's awesome. But I'll be back in about 8 or 9 minutes. Hopefully you guys will be as well, as we've got compLexity going up against Not Today for a second tiebreaker match of the night.